So today we're going to have a little look at another peculiar genus of plants, and these are called Melicytus, and they all come from New Zealand, where they grow in rock crevices, in cliffs and mountains, and they're a scrubby, shrubby sort of plant, but they appear pretty well suited to our climate in the UK. And this one here was planted about 20 years ago, and you can see that although it's flopped over, it's made an enormous shrub. And this is Melicytus obovatus, and as you will see in a second, the upright leaves are very obovate, and hence the name of the species. Now, what you won't get any idea of, standing and filming as we are now, is that this plant is absolutely covered with tens of thousands of minute, tiny flowers. And we'll just come up now and have a look at some of them. The flowers are most peculiar, and they appear from the bare stem, and they appear from the new growth. In fact, they appear almost anywhere that it's possible for a flower to appear. There are simply enormous clusters of these flowers right up and down the stem, right to the very tips, which we're looking at, which are probably 15 feet high. And when you look closely, these flowers are sort of purple. They're quite intricate little flowers, and they're purple with a little white rim on the edge of the flower, which you can just about maybe see there if I turn that stem a little bit on the side. But the even more peculiar thing about this plant is that not all the flowers are in fact purple. Here and there, if we look very closely, and I'm now struggling to find some, but I will in a minute, here and there we find we find flowers which are actually yellow, and rather than being purple. Sometimes they're on one stem like there, and sometimes within a cluster you just find one or maybe two yellowish flowers. I'm struggling to find them, but I don't see any there. But if we look, it's quite difficult to see, but if we look in there, we see a little yellow one or two. And what I think is that there are male and female flowers, and I think that there's a preponderance of these purple female flowers, and relatively few male, actually I probably got that the wrong way around, it must be the other way around. The female flowers are yellow and the male flowers are purple, because in the autumn we see sort of hanging purple berries on this bush, but really not very many, just here and there, and that might explain why there are so few female flowers and so many male flowers. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm right, but it's really quite interesting, and who'd have thought that a plant that looks dull from a distance could actually have so many flowers on it, even though they're minuscule. So this is another species of Melicytus. This is Melicytus crassifolius. And the plant we're looking at appears to be almost deciduous. And yet another plant of a similar size elsewhere in the garden has still got all its leaves and is completely evergreen. But the evergreen plant hasn't got any flowers on. And this extraordinary little plant is equally plastered with flowers which are actually yellow. And if you look closely, you can see that they're tiny, but there are lots of them. And in a funny sort of way, they're quite pretty. I'm not sure whether it's flowered properly because it's dropped its leaves, but certainly the other plant of a similar size has got full leaf and no flowers at all that I can see. But what we've also got here is one berry, and it's so difficult to see. I think it's probably easiest if I cut it off and hold it in my hand. But here we've got a little white berry which probably formed last autumn and is still hanging there on the bush in the spring. And in maturity, I expect we're going to see quite a lot more of those white berries, which will probably be easy enough to propagate. This is a more of a spreading shrub than Melicytus obovatus. I think it's going to be a bit like a privet or perhaps a Lonicera nitida in its growth habit. You can see how it's sort of starting to grow up and flop with more than one stem, which is rather what you'd expect from a plant whose origin in the wild is in cliff faces and crags in New Zealand. Perhaps not a showstopper, but certainly something of great interest in the garden if you're a bit of a collector of rare and unusual plants. Melicytus obviously like sunny positions in a hot location. I think they might be a bit on the tender side further up country, but we've had no problem with them at all. And where these two plants are growing is in the teeth of the east wind in an open glade. So I don't think they're going to be difficult to grow. I don't think they're going to be particularly difficult to propagate. I first saw this plant exhibited at the Cornwall Garden Society show in Wadebridge in 2019, and I was very struck with it and thought how peculiar, how unusual, how extraordinary that a plant should have these multitude of tiny yellow flowers. But then I realized we'd already got Melicytus obovatus growing away here, and I'd never actually bothered to look at it properly in the spring to see its flowers. Another of the wonders of nature.